Welcome back, everybody. I am Chris 70 with 70 Mortgage Note Investments. 70 Mortgage Note Investments is an SEC qualified Regulation A plus offering, raising $75 million to invest in distressed mortgage notes. Today, we are going to talk about a term we like to use called the double bottom line. What is it and how we implement our double bottom line? And the double bottom line for us means looking out for our investors and protecting their money while also working with borrowers of distressed mortgages to create a win-win situation, which typically provides the greatest return to our investors and with the least amount of impact on borrowers by allowing them to stay in their homes. So I want to talk more about that double bottom line and why it's important to us. And it's important because we all know that feeling of people wanting more, whether it be money, power. We want to have the best of everything, and a lot of people have envy around us. But what happens if you get everything you want? What happens if you finally reach that ultimate goal that seems unreachable? Often people are still not happy with their life or that situation. They become greedy, end up unhappy. Whatever situation is, they always have that sense of they're missing something. And we want to cover how greed can be a bad thing, which we believe it is a bad thing, but also how we take that double bottom line to make it a commitment not only to our investors, but our borrowers. And we do this by when we're working with borrowers, whether it's on a modification, a short payoff, some type of change in agreement. The focus and the goal is to create a win-win situation with the borrower by also providing the returns to our investors and minimizing the risk. I think a lot of investment strategies always miss that key component, which is risk. So let me give you a situation. Borrower has a property, $125,000 home. They owe $100,000 on this property, but they're 4 years behind in the mortgage. It's a single family property, and the borrower's behind because it's a 70-year-old woman whose husband had recently passed. And, basically the house was in his name. She didn't know what to do and basically could not get in touch with the mortgage company to figure out what was going on. The woman basically had received some some money from life insurance, but really didn't have the income to continue to pay the monthly bill on the property. So what happens? Do we just throw the 70-year-old woman out of her house, take her house and throw her out in the streets? What's the best situation? Borrower comes, finally we get in touch with borrower. Borrower comes up and says, well, I got this life insurance money. I can pay, I know I owe you 100. Can I pay you $70,000 within 7 days to settle that debt? And we had acquired that note for $50,000 and we owned it for 6 months' time. So what do? Do we say, no, we want you to pay us the full $100,000 that you owe us, which could, have risk that the borrower could file bankruptcy. The borrower could, pass away, get tied up in probate. Many different things could happen with that property. Or do we take the payment, keep the borrower in their home, give them the reduced payoff, and make a good profit that pays our investors and pays our bills? That's a situation, double bottom line. We'll take the risk out of it. Yes, we most likely take those funds, get the loan paid off, let this woman stay in her property while also collecting that money and not having to wait 3, 4, 5 years to make that money. And by getting it now, can reinvest it and probably end up doing better in the long run. Okay, that's situation one. Situation two, same thing, $125,000 property. They owe $100,000. They're 3 years behind on their mortgage. Your payment was $750 a month, and they're about $25,000 past due. Single family property. Borrower in this case, single mother of 3 children. The borrower lost their job during COVID. Basically had to stay home with the kids because couldn't pay for the childcare while they're going to work. Now that the kids are back in school, the borrower can now start making payments, and they actually got a nice pay bump. Borrower steps in and says, I can afford $1,000 per month going forward. We acquired this note for $60,000. Same thing. We've owned it for 6 months to a year. what do? Do we throw the woman out of her house with her 3 kids to try and foreclose on the property? Or do we work out an agreement where she now pays us $1,000 per month or $12,000 a year on a $60,000 investment, which if you do math is 20%. Now let's look at some of the risk involved in that situation. Again, borrower can file bankruptcy. The property may not be worth $125,000 because we don't get to see the insides of these properties. But if we work out this modification with this borrower, we start collecting payments, we always still have, rights and remedies down the line. If she can't afford it, then we might try and help her sell the property, wherever the case may be. But by keeping the borrower in the property, getting us those payments versus foreclosing on them and all the unknown risks, I've done this over 500 times, and 499 out of 500 times, it's always better to keep that person in that property. So this is what we mean when we talk about targeting the double bottom line. There's sometimes a phrase out there, pigs get fat and happy, hogs get slaughtered. We see that a lot in investing in real estate, where everybody tries to scrape every last penny out of the bucket that we can get. For us, we look to mitigate risk by providing our investors a return and also putting some of that profit in our pockets as well. So I just wanted to remind people of the situation, because while it looks good on paper, again, many people do forget all the risks that are involved. And with the double bottom line, we feel it's doing the right thing, which again, typically leads to higher returns and less risks. Hope you enjoyed this video. For more information on note investing, make sure to subscribe to us at 7E Investments and check out our website, 7einvestments.com. That's the number 7, the letter E, investments.com. Thank you.